So this video is how to run the sample model derivative C# context menu, and this sample it's composed by three modules. So the first one is the context menu. This piece actually came from different source code. You can see on the description here where this came from code project. This is a translator exe. That's the desktop module that will receive the request to translate the file, upload, and get the results. And that's a translator server that will keep a copy of the file to upload, to force, translate, prepare the spreadsheet, and download the results. So let's run it. The first piece is to download the zip file. So let's download from here. I'm not using anything that I already have. This is a Windows 10 machine, clean, just with Visual Studio. So let me go to downloads folder. Here I have it. So let me minimize this and extract this project here so we can manipulate this one. So let's open the solution on Visual Studio 2017. You can open on 2015 as well, but I'm just using 2017 because that's the last one. So let's open the project. Open project. The solution actually. As this came from a web source, it's complaining about the security warning. So let's just hit OK for all three projects. Okay, preparing solution. So let's see what we have here. So this is the context menu. Don't need to make any change here unless you want to change this icon. That's a translator server. We just have to make sure the app config, the address we are using here is localhost 3000. That's the default, and that's where this translator server will be. If we move that to a cloud host, then we have to update this address on the translator server, translator exe, and that's the translator server. And the only thing we need to do here is go to the web config and add our developer ID and secret. Otherwise, we don't have permission to access the Forge APIs. So let me come to the developer portal, and I'm going to sign in using my Gmail account. I'm not using anything from Autodesk here. Not using my Autodesk account. So for this, let's create an app that is going to use data management model derivative, and let's call it context menu. We must specify this, but we are not going to use on our sample. So just put anything here, should be okay. Create the application. Now we have our developer ID. Let's come here and paste our developer ID, and the same for our developer secret, and place it right here. Okay, now we can build the application. Let's build for this time using debug version of that. You can also use release, no problem. So let's build the entire solution. Now we have the first time you build, the NuGet will restore all the packages, and then we'll build the files, the solutions. Now everything is ready. So let's go back to the folder where we have this. Is on the desktop, debug. So we have the DLL for the context menu, some libraries we are using, and the translator exe. Looking at the documentation, it says that we need to, right here, we need to register the assembly using code base. So to do that, let's run the console line. That's one of the ways of doing it. We need to run this as administrator, because otherwise we cannot register. So let's run as administrator. So this register assembly, it can be on different locations depending on your environment. So let me show you where you can get it. So let me come to Windows, Microsoft.NET. I'm using the 64-bit version of the .NET engine. That's the engine 4.0, and reg assembly. So that's what we want. Copy path and place it right here. Now we need the DLL. So let's again copy that path and place here. And it says also to use code base, right? So code base. As you can see here, types registered successfully. So now we have the DLL registered. This DLL, we assume this translator is at the same folder, so make sure these and these are at the same folder. And you also need all the other files that are here. Okay, now we have the DLL register that we'll call the exe. We just need the server running. So let's start this in debug mode. So let's make sure this is the startup project. So we are going to start only the server. So let's start this one. This server is prepared to open a web page, but we can also come back here and go to properties and say that we don't want to start a page. So in web, start action, instead of current page, let's say don't open a page. So we don't want to open anything here. So let's run it again. So now the server is running on my computer. So that's localhost 3000. So let's go to a folder where we have a file. In this case, a Revit file. So I have one here. This is a Revit file. Right click, I can see the extract properties. So what will happen here? This extract property is running on the context menu DLL that will call the translator.exe that will upload this file to the server, request the translation, and then download the results. So just click here. We can see that something is happening. So that's the uploading process. Well, depending on the size of the file, it may take some time because depending on the connection you have, but now you just have to wait for the results. So now I will leave this running and I will skip the piece where it's uploading and waiting for the results, and just move this video to the part where the file is already here so you can see the results.